So I gotta tell you guys, I feel a little bit vindicated not being one of those people that are just gonna bend over and kind of take it from everybody telling you, oh, just link your Steam account to PSN. PSN is totally fine. Nothing has happened to PSN in a long time. That hack was so long ago. That was back in 2011 or whatever the year was. Well, I kind of feel a little bit vindicated. I'm not going to lie to you. We got an article here from The Gamer talking about the massive news right now, and that has to do with PlayStation Network just magically being down for damn near 24 hours at this point. This article was written 11 hours ago. Actually, it might even be more than 24 hours at this point. And Sony and PlayStation, to my knowledge anyway, haven't said a damn thing as to why the network is down. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, people are going to be losing their minds. What do you mean you can't have PlayStation Network for a day? What do you mean you can't have it for potentially 2 days? This is exactly how it started, by the way. When the PlayStation Network was hacked ages ago, this right here is exactly how it happened. I remember it going down like it was just yesterday. 1 day went by, 2 days went by, 3 days went by. They kept giving us timelines that they had to push back. They kept trying to lie to us and say that it wasn't a hack, that it was some sort of an attack or something along those lines. And then eventually they had to come out and admit that, yep, it got hacked. A lot of information was stolen and things are really messed up. So let's get into this article, guys, from The Gamer. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, I find this hilarious. I don't know why, I just do. I find it hilarious that the year that Sony swept the Game Awards, right? This was a Sony Awards. Sony was getting all the awards for Astrobot and whatnot, even in certain aspects when they didn't deserve it. I find it funny that the year that they, the last year that they won the Game Awards and took everything, the next year they get hacked and now they're down. Well, let me not say they got hacked because I don't know if they actually got hacked yet. So the summary says PSN has been offline for more than 15 hours and shows no sign of recovery. PlayStation has acknowledged the issues, but it hasn't provided an update in 10 hours. Some fans are worried that we're going to see a repeat of the infamous 2011 outage. Oh, I was right. But that's unlikely to be the case. Okay, so they did apparently acknowledge it, and let's see if they showcase that acknowledgement. The PlayStation Network has now been down for more than 15 hours, meaning that players aren't able to log into their account, use the PlayStation Store, or use their games online. Now, the hilarious thing about all of this is that of all the people, or I should say of all the companies, to cook Sony over all this debacle going down by now, GameStop was not the one that I thought was going to do it. I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen. If you look over here on my Twitter account, I made a post laughing about this because I couldn't believe that GameStop was going to be so savage. And they were going to say, bet y'all want your physical copies now. I mean, oh my God. The level of cook is astronomical. I freaking love it. We need GameStop to do this more often, and maybe they will be back in the good graces of gamers. Kind of like Wendy's. The fact that Wendy's does it, everybody loves it when Wendy's does it. Ever since the infamous PSN outage of 2011 that lasted for 23 staggering days, PlayStation services have generally tended to be pretty reliable and had not many issues. That's not true. That's not true. The PSN has had plenty of issues well past 2011. So to pretend as if it wasn't a problem, no, it was a problem. PSN is one of the worst fucking services out there, okay? They are the most hacked, the most down, the most everything services. It's really bad. Anyway, they tended to be pretty reliable. I don't believe that. And not had many issues. There's the occasional outage here and there, but it usually never lasts more than a few hours without being fixed. That sadly isn't the case right now. At around 7 p.m. Eastern last night, PlayStation users started reporting that PSN wasn't working at all for them and that they couldn't use any of its services, including logging in, going online, sending messages, and viewing the PlayStation Store. While most hoped that the outage would be short-lived, it's now been 15 hours since it began, and no one, including PlayStation, seems to know when it's coming back. That's insane. That is insane. Now, listen, I get it, right? It's brand new. All right, this whole debacle just happened. They're probably scrambling. They're probably trying to figure out what the hell is going on, who they're being hacked by. I don't believe it for a second that this is not a hack attempt. I just don't, right? I really don't. Because for them to be down for this long, for anything, like you're going to tell me it's a DDoS attack or something like that? You've been DDoS before, and you've been back up after a couple of hours. And I'm not going to believe you when you say that we are now over 24 hours and you are still down with no end in sight. site and that this is not anything other than a hack or some sort of compromise. I would guarantee that there is some level of compromise here on these systems. And the reason why they're not saying anything right now is because they want to see if the amount of information that gets stolen, if there is any information stolen, is in a drastic amount that requires people, needing a public statement. Otherwise, they're not going to say anything. They're going to pretend like it was just down for XYZ reason other than it being hacked, which again, that's what I really think is happening. It says, while most hope that the outages be short-lived, it's now been 15 hours, which again, we already know that it's been longer than that. Shortly after the outage started, the official Ask PlayStation Twitter account acknowledged the ongoing issues with PSN and said that some users might be currently experiencing issues. Some? What do you mean some? Some people... That is a downplay if I've ever seen one in my life. Some users might be experiencing issues with PSN. Now, it's probably some bot account or something that has automated responses. I don't really know. But ultimately, it's ridiculous that they're trying to say that some users are going to have a problem when all users are having a problem. It's not like some people are able to log in and play their video games. It's not like some people are able to access the store. The freaking service is down for everybody. What do you mean some? As of the time of writing, the service status page still shows all of PSN service being completely offline. The page has a message noting that PlayStation is working on to resolve the issue as soon as possible, but with it being so long without an update or any given reason, fans are starting to get a little bit worried. I think you should be worried. I really do. I think you should be worried at this point. I think it's pretty obvious that there is something way more drastic going on here that they don't want to tell us, and I'd probably give it like a week. Right? Maybe even less, but I'll say a week. I give it a week before they have to say something. And I mean like actually say something, like come out and make a statement about what actually happened, tell the fans what happened and what they're going to offer to try to, offset the time lost. Because again, people are paying for this. We're paying for this service. So if it's not available to us, they should be compensated in some way, shape, or form. It says, while network outages are a fairly common thing for online services, what is this? Are we trying to run damage control for PlayStation with the gamer or something like that? The surprising length of the current issues combined with it being the weekend has a lot of fans worried that we're going to see a repeat of the 2011 outages. That hopefully won't be the case since that was caused by a cyber attack, but we'll keep you updated if there's any change to the situation. So again, guys, I don't know why they think a cyber attack can happen now more than any other day. I mean, people have access to so many things these days. It's ridiculous, but I'm calling it right now that this is most likely some sort of a cyber attack, some sort of a hack, even if it's a small case one. I'm calling it right now. I genuinely believe that's what's happening because 24 plus hours of a service being down, and now we're going into day of 48 hours. Eventually, if it gets to the end of the day, that's a little bit ridiculous. And I think we are well past the whole DDoS thing because again, they've combated DDoS. They have combat systems in place to fight DDoS attacks, and DDoS attacks don't really work that well against Sony like it used to back in the day. They have these things to stop these attacks from happening or at least mitigate them to the best of their ability. So ultimately, we're going to find out what happened to PlayStation Network. But as of right now, again, I feel vindicated, like I said earlier in the video, because I would never link my account, man. I just absolutely refuse. I will not link my Steam account to PSN. Screw that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.